Welcome back to Melisia Talks, where we talk all things uniquely you, the summer sizzling edition. As we are continuing on, it is already the month of July. Wow. If you have listened to any of my previous episodes, you will know that I have stressed the fact that this year is sprinting by. And I really hope that you have taken the time to enjoy the moments, the times to just relax in the moments, the times to just embrace the moments, and those times to just do it in the moments, right? And if you have not already taken time in whatever moment you have been given to one, expand your relationship with Christ, go deeper with your relationship with Christ, or even your relationship with yourself, and also the relationships that He has placed you in, then what are you doing, sis? Or man, brother, if you're listening to this, what are you doing? We're already in the month of July. So take this as your encouraging moment to get up, do something in whatever moment you have been blessed with, and let's do something with it. All right. Even if that moment is relaxing, I'm not saying you always have to be doing something, but don't stop in your moment. All right. So show up for yourself. Okay. And I got that from an amazing woman. Alita, if you're listening, has pushed show up for yourself. And I have loved that. So show up for yourself in whatever moment you have been blessed to have. All right. So today's topic, listen, hot hair, ladies. I'm calling it hot hair. Yes, we ladies, and if anyone who is not of the African American, Black, whatever, ethnic group, I'm talking to us today with our hair. And yes, I'm calling it hot hair because it is the summertime, right? And if you are styling or rocking natural hair, you will understand exactly what it is that I am referring to here, right? And so, just personally for me, I started this natural hair journey almost 2 years ago after being a relaxed female since I can remember, right? I remember going to the hair salon as a little girl, getting my kitty perms, my mom doing some at home. And then eventually, as I got older, I after being home with my mom for a minute, then she moved, of course, and I ended up living with my grandmother, and she didn't know how to do hair. So that was in high school. So I was at the hair salon getting fried, dyed, and laid to the side, as they would say, with my relaxers, right? Every 2 weeks, okay? Not the relaxer, but getting it washed in between. And then the relaxer, of course, about 6 to 8 weeks. But just after all of these years, I just decided some years ago, hey, let me try this journey. I'm not one of those people who don't at least try to do something different. And, whether I heard you had to do the big chop, that's the only way to go. I did not want to do that. I wanted to allow for it to grow out, which can be a little more difficult depending on how much patience you have with it or not. I was one of the ones who wanted to have it grow out and just trim as it goes, cut as it goes, cut as it goes, right? And so here I am now and truly into the natural stage. And after 2 years of trying to do this pretty much all last year, wearing braids through the process, now, of course, I'm going to be honest, ladies, I don't even do it. I get somebody else to do it. As they say, get someone else to do it. That's what I did. I got someone else to do it. People get paid, of course, and to go to school, and these people went to school, they got trained, they got educated, and all of these things. Why am I struggling at home and making it worse? I mean, when I say struggling, I mean struggling. Yes, I watched 1,000 YouTube videos trying to figure it out. It just was not clicking for me. Or maybe, as everybody says, you have to find the right products for your hair. Maybe I was not finding the right products for my hair. And maybe that's not a maybe. I was not finding the right products for my hair. And even if I did, I was probably not using them right. Okay. So, with that being said, I just found a few people, and I've been to a few people now. Unfortunately, I left my previous stylist, and no love lost, no hurt there. I pray that she understood when I did send her a message just to let her know that I was going to someone else and why, of course. But, just understanding that sometimes you have to find the right person to be able to help you. Just like if, you're sick and, you have that authority to get a second opinion, right? Who's going to help you get to where you're trying to get to. And, so just keeping that in mind. But that's where I am right now. I do want to go into a few other things here with how my experience has been with the different types of styles that I have had. So first, I want to start out. That's my little bit of, talk. But the one hair struggle, I am now in the summertime without braids. So I am utilizing the more natural styles, as they call them. And that's the styles where I am getting I guess they're called the twists, and the two-strand twist. It's not really braids, and just understanding it's all my own hair and what that looks like. And so my husband and boys, yeah, they said they just have to get used to it. I myself am having to get used to it. And I've also, prior to now the summertime, have worn my usual blowouts, and I absolutely love those, but I know we can't always continue to wear the heat. So I'm going to try, here, continue with the two strand twists, and then also eventually utilize the rod sets. And I've had a rod set before, but only with an actual relaxer. So I'm going to really see how this works during the summertime here and just understanding what that is. So many of us deal with the issue during the summertime of the frizz, right? The shrinkage, it's hot, of course, and, depending on where you live, humid, right? Now, I live in Florida. There are some areas of Florida that the humidity is much worse than in other areas. But that leads to that shrinkage, right? That leads to the frizz. It leads to the dryness. It leads to you sweating. Hey, listen, I don't know about anybody's genetics, but my genetics, the sun can run one ray of heat on me and I'm already sweating, okay? And this was before, getting into this whole perimenopause area. So yeah, let's just talk about that another time. But anyways, we sweat, and we usually starts in our scalp. And there are people who I've seen, they can work out, do very high intensity exercises, and they are barely sweating. And I am just like, okay, I'm grateful that my body does allow for it to, relieve itself and cool itself down with the sweat. But man, at the starting at my scalp, that's been my issue. But yeah, so those are some main challenges that we do face, especially during the summertime. Again, the frizz, the shrinkage, the sweat, the dryness, all of those things we have to be mindful of. And then also, I mentioned the different types that I have tried with the protective styles, braids last year. I have not done braids here in 2025 yet. And again, I've only done the two-strand twist, but I am going to potentially, like I said, try the rod set. There's also, Bantu knots people have worn. There are cornrows. I mentioned, of course, the braids, especially knotless. That's what I utilize the most. But there are many different types of, styles that can be worn. It's all low maintenance. It is, flexible, but you always want to be mindful of what that looks like in the scalp maintenance, right? No, I am not a hairstylist, so don't take any of this information and run with it as if I am the end all be all. I'm just giving my own experiences here and just helping you to understand, what that looks like. But again, just being mindful that the scalp has to be maintained as well. We're always thinking about the hair, things like that, but you have to maintain your scalp. And whatever that looks like for you, you need to figure it out. Every person is going to be different. And so you want to make sure that you are addressing the scalp and just being mindful of that. So there are many different things, that people utilize to try to decrease the frizz, decrease, the issues as it relates to shrinkage and dryness. Find what works for you. There's something I always tell my nursing students, especially when they're preparing for this high stakes certification exam, and that's, the NCLEX. You have to find what works for you and stick with it, right? Same thing here when it comes to making sure that you find a way to decrease the frizz, find a way to make sure your scalp is conditioned, is refreshed. Find that and stick with it. Many people believe in different oils, coconut oils, aloe vera, different things like that. Whether it's, some sort of um, uh, oils such as what's the usual one I used to always use? I can't even think about it now. It's slipping my mind. But castor oil, thank you. So castor oil, and there's many different types. Whatever it is for you that helps to lock in that moisture, for your scalp and for your hair, you want to utilize that. So find what works for you and stick with it, right? Now, if you're one of those people who go to the beach, go to the pools during the summertime, I am not one of those people that actually gets my hair wet and get, my hair down into the water. So I can't really tell you what my hair even looks like if I did do that. I am the one who is wading in the water, walking in the water at the beach, right? Wading in the water at the beach, wading in the water at the pool, and that's about it, right? But there are so many different things out there now to help protect your hair. There's many different swim caps to help protect, women's hair, of course, Black women, protective scarves. I've seen so many different, ads that have been out there where they're actually, utilizing this protective scarf or cap in the water. And so they had good reviews, but just try to find what's going to help you during that time frame. But do keep in mind that if, of course, you are at the beach and you get into the beach water, that's salt water, right? And we know what salt can do. So really be mindful of that as well. Also keep in mind that when it comes to, the your hair texture, we always see the different types of hair textures that can, I'm just like, why are you even trying to show us this natural style? Because your hair is going to be perfectly fine. And so those are those different types. And I don't know all the different types. I know 4C is what people talk about as being the one that has the most shrinkage, the one that is, I don't like to use the word nappy, but more coarse, I would say. And, I see people say, well, let's do that. Let's see this used on a 4C hair type, right? So with that, whatever hair type you have, embrace it. That's where I'm going here with this. Embrace and love your hair type. And then again, figure out what it is that's going to help your hair type thrive, and just embrace that natural beauty of it, the volume, the texture. Overall, again, whatever hair type you have, love on it, embrace it, show it off. And again, make sure you're finding what works for you and sticking with it. And if that even means getting someone else to do it, who finds what works for your hair and stick with it for you, do that. Okay. Do that. So again, this is self-love, self-hair love, hair affirmations, whatever you want to call it. Love on your hair, and whatever that looks like, that's you figuring out how to make sure that you can get it done right, or getting someone else to do it. Just do it, ladies. I love this. So again, some, takeaways from this very brief hair talk. Remembering, of course, your hair during this time frame, making sure that you're looking at different types of styles. If you're fully natural like me now, what does that look like for you? Is it you, doing it? Is it somebody else doing it? Is it you finding what works for you and sticking with it? Is it somebody else finding what works for you and sticking with it? The different types of styles that you can get, twist outs, cornrows, bantu knots, your usual braid styles. Again, I really believe in knotless ones, but there are so many ones out there. As long as you know how to maintain it while you have it, that is the great part about it. And so finding ways to, decrease the frizz, decrease, of course, the extra dryness that can come along with it. Again, being mindful of that. One thing I did not mention here is that people do wear wigs, and that's a great go-to as well. If you're just gonna braid your hair down underneath it, wear a wig, perfectly fine, or even get a sew-in. I've noticed people during the summertime as well, They get their hair braided down, get a sew-in to manage it that way as well. So there's many different ways. Again, I did not mention that here because I personally, I've never had a sew-in. I would love to have one day. I just need to make sure the right person does it. And again, with wigs and things like that, it can be really hot. And so for me, I haven't worn one during the summer because it's very hot. And again, I've already said I sweat from my scalp first, right? But definitely keeping those things in mind. And it looks beautiful on women when they do take those routes as well. So, again, my tip, find what works for you this summer and stick with it, ladies. And that could mean different things for you and even for myself. All right, so this is Melisia Talks, where we talk all things uniquely you. Of course, hot hair. Hot hair is today's topic, and I look forward to coming back to you the week after next. So next week, that Thursday is July 10th, I will not have an episode because it is, the summer. All right. I will not have an episode next week, but I will, of course, for the last Thursdays and the rest of this month, have episodes posted. So hot hair today and something else 2 weeks from now. Until next time, bye.